October 31st, 2025. The South China Sea is a tinderbox. Scarborough Shoal glimmers under the sun, but this is no paradise. It's a flashpoint. The BRP Teresa Magbanua, a Philippine Coast Guard vessel, faces off against a flotilla of Chinese ships. The Chinese ships are larger, gray, and menacing. A clear message: this water is theirs. Tension crackles in the air. Radio warnings escalate from polite to demanding. This is the front line of a global power struggle, played out with ships, not soldiers. The world is watching. Headlines scream, "Showdown at Scarborough." For the Filipino crew, this is about sovereignty, livelihood, and national pride. They are David facing Goliath. Every move calculated, every radio call recorded. The Chinese vessels inch closer, churning the sea into a vortex of rivalry. This is not a drill. This is the reality of the world's most contested waterway. A single mistake could ignite a conflict with devastating consequences. The Filipino captain stares through binoculars at the Chinese flag, knowing both his orders and the unwritten rules. The Chinese use water cannons, lasers, and aggressive maneuvers to intimidate, testing the resolve of their neighbors. Today, that resolve is being tested like never before. The line is drawn in the water. At dawn, a 300-meter floating barrier, China's message Filipinos, keep out, blocks the shoal's lagoon. For local fishermen, it's a devastating blow, a physical manifestation of China's claims. For Manila, it's an unacceptable affront to sovereignty. The decision is made, act. The world waits to see what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. The standoff is tense, the stakes immense. Every maneuver is a message, every hesitation a risk. The future of the region hangs in the balance. Scarborough Shoal is no longer just a remote reef. It's the center of a global drama. The world holds its breath. The next move could change everything. The line in the water has never been clearer. The order from Manila was clear: cut the barrier. Under the gaze of Chinese ships and the world's media, a small team of Philippine Coast Guard divers slipped into the water. Armed only with knives, their mission was simple but symbolic: sever the chain China used to block the shoal. The act was a direct challenge to Beijing, broadcast for all to see. The moment the buoy line was cut, it became a powerful statement. Manila would not be bullied. Images of the divers went viral, sparking national pride and hailing the Coast Guard as heroes. The government framed the operation as a rightful action within its exclusive economic zone. China's reaction was swift and furious, condemning the act as provocation and releasing its own counter-narratives. The war of words escalated, each side reinforcing its story: recklessness versus aggression. The world watched as the rift widened. Some nations quietly applauded the Philippines' courage, others worried about escalation. The U.S. reaffirmed its support for the Philippines, calling on China to respect international law. A simple act with a knife and a few divers had internationalized the dispute. The shoal was now a central stage for a global drama about power and law. The Philippines' gamble paid off. The world was paying attention. The barrier was gone, but the standoff had only just begun. The message was clear: small acts can have global consequences. The world was watching, and the stakes had never been higher. Scarborough Shoal, just rocks and reefs, uninhabitable, no fresh water. So why risk conflict beneath the waves? Rich fishing grounds, vital for Filipino livelihoods and food security. For China, it's about more than fish. Control here strengthens its claim over the entire South China Sea, believed to hold vast oil and gas reserves. The shoal's location is strategic, close to Luzon, near former U.S. bases, and astride major shipping lanes. If China builds a military outpost here, it could project power deep into the Pacific and monitor global trade routes. For the U.S. and its allies, a Chinese base would complete a triangle of outposts, challenging American naval dominance. For the Philippines, a Chinese military presence so close is an existential threat. This is why barren rocks have become a focal point of global tension. It's not about the rocks, it's about power, security, and the future of the region. The shoal is a prize in a great power competition. Whoever controls it shapes the balance in Asia. The stakes are far bigger than a patch of sea. Scarborough Shoal is a symbol of the struggle for the 21st century. The Philippines wields a powerful weapon: paper. In 2016, the Hague Tribunal ruled in Manila's favor, invalidating China's 9-dash line and affirming Philippine rights to the shoal. The ruling is the legal bedrock of Manila's position. Scarborough lies within its exclusive economic zone. But China rejected the award, calling it waste paper. The dilemma: The Philippines has law, China has power. Manila's strategy is to publicize the ruling, hoping to shame China and rally international support. Every diplomatic protest, every press release, references the arbitral award. This is Manila's paper shield, an attempt to level the playing field. But can law protect against might? The world is watching to see if rules or raw power will decide the future. The struggle is as much about principle as territory. China sees Scarborough Shoal as Huangyan Dao, an issue of history, not law. Beijing claims centuries-old discovery, ancient maps, and indisputable sovereignty. This narrative, taught in schools and repeated by state media, fuels nationalism and justifies assertive policies. Abroad, China frames itself as a victim defending ancestral territory, casting doubt on the Philippines' legal claims. The media war is fierce. Each side releases videos, each accuses the other of provocation. China accuses Filipino fishermen of destructive practices, painting its own actions as environmental stewardship. Propaganda, history, and greenwashing combine to justify China's moves and muddy the waters. The result? A confusing battle of narratives, making truth elusive. The information war is as critical as the standoff at sea. In this conflict, perception is power. Scarborough Shoal is a gray zone battlefield, aggression without open war. China uses its Coast Guard and maritime militia to blockade, harass, and intimidate, avoiding direct military confrontation. Water cannons, lasers, and dangerous maneuvers are routine, calibrated to stop short of armed attack. One incident, a Philippine supply boat is surrounded, blasted with water cannons, and forced to retreat, captured on video for the world to see. These are not isolated events, but a pattern of coercion. China's goal: make access so risky and costly that Manila gives up. For Filipino crews, every mission is a test of courage and restraint. The gray zone is a high-stakes game of chicken with steel ships. The fear: one day, someone won't swerve, and a crisis will erupt. The dance continues, nerves fraying, danger ever present. The world watches, hoping the line isn't crossed. The next incident could change everything. The Scarborough standoff is not just Manila versus Beijing. Washington is watching. The US and Philippines are bound by a mutual defense treaty. An attack on Philippine vessels could trigger American intervention. Recently, US officials have made it clear down. Attacks in the South China Sea count. US Navy warships conduct freedom of navigation operations, challenging China's claims. Joint patrols and military exercises with the Philippines and allies send a strong signal. The alliance has deepened. The US now has expanded access to Philippine bases, some near the South China Sea. This infuriates Beijing, which accuses the US of stoking confrontation. For Manila, the alliance is a double-edged sword: security but also risk of being drawn into a superpower conflict. Still, the US presence is a crucial counterbalance to China's power. It gives Filipino sailors the confidence to stand their ground. The Eagle's shadow falls over Scarborough Shoal, changing the dynamic. The stakes are higher than ever. The alliance is being tested in real time. The world wonders, will America stand firm if the line is crossed? The answer could reshape the region. Scarborough Shoal is a powder keg. The greatest danger is miscalculation. Ships from rival nations operate in close quarters, stress high, nerves frayed. A single collision, a water cannon blast, or a laser incident could spiral out of control. National pride and public pressure make backing down difficult. If the Philippines invokes its treaty with the US, Washington faces a fateful choice. Command structures and lack of crisis hotlines add to the risk. US, Australian, Japanese, and European ships are often nearby. An incident could draw in third parties. Even a close call between a US plane and a Chinese jet could escalate. In this crowded sea, one spark could ignite a major power conflict. The world holds its breath, hoping disaster is averted. The future of Scarborough Shoal is unwritten. One path: China's pressure works, the Philippines backs down, and Beijing gains control without a shot fired. Another: perpetual tension, with standoffs and risk of accidental war becoming the new normal. Or a third path: diplomacy and de-escalation, with both sides stepping back and seeking compromise. The stakes are global. If power trumps law here, what hope for smaller nations elsewhere? Scarborough Shoal is a test case for the world order. Will the future be ruled by law or by might? As of October 31st, 2025, the tide has not yet turned. The world waits, uncertain. The next move will echo far beyond these waters. The future remains uncharted.